For me, the thing that matters is shifting the economic system. The thing that is the problem is the current economic system. The solution is shifting the economics, and all the little things that we've talked about. And I don't mean little in a sort of diminishing kind of way, but all the things that we've talked about are parts of the solution. And this call, what we're doing, this dinner party, is part of the solution. Connecting with other people is so important. And when I moved here 10 years ago from San Francisco, I got involved with Transition Town Totnes. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. And we, there wasn't a whole lot going on in terms of the local economy. And we started doing things together. And I might talk about it a little bit later. But we looked around, Hal and I wish Hal was here, but we looked around and we said, none of this matters unless we're connected to other people in our region who are doing things. And we started doing something called the Devon Convergence. And I'm so glad we started doing that, because we met so many interesting people. We got connected to people that led to other things happening that never would have happened otherwise if we hadn't have connected in the ways that we did, which was just very, sort of convivial and humble. You create a little event, you invite people in, you say, hello, what are you doing? Oh yeah, me too. So we did this in Torbay, and we met at the Reconomy Center first, Chris, didn't we? But Chris Gunson, everyone, from Torbay and Local Spark. And we really got this going at the Devon Convergence in Torbay. And we don't have to talk about all that, but I'm just going to give you the spotlight here for a minute. And please, please share a little bit of what you think is important to share about the work that we've been doing, that you've been doing in Torbay.
Okay. I'll just start by saying that the reason I'm still awake is because I'm waiting to hear if we're going to hear Jay's best joke tonight, or if we're going to be spared. You never can tell. So we'll see how that's going to go. Yeah, so Jay and I met in 2017, I guess. Amazing length of time ago now, really. And Torbay is one of these places that people see it from the outside. It's a seaside town. But like lots of seaside towns, when you dig down, there's just massive inequality. There are really, really deprived areas. And then there are incredibly rich people as well, side by side. It's really quite shocking. There's one particular road in Torbay where if you live at one end or you live at the other end, your life expectancy changes by 8 years, which I think just sums up all sorts of horrendous things. So the work that Local Spark is doing in Torbay, we like to say that we're not setting our targets too high. We're just aiming to completely transform the economy of Torbay. Just a little thing, but it keeps us focused on what we're doing in case we wander off. And we're doing that in a number of ways. We started off, really, Jay said earlier, about talking to people. We started just talking to people. Anyone who would stand still for more than 30 seconds, and I'd be talking to them about Local Spark and what we were trying to do. And not all of them ran away, fortunately, so we made some progress.
Chris, do you mind if I butt in here for a minute?
Yeah.
And I just want to say, this has been entirely all of your doing. You did that work and built the networks and had those conversations, and well done, because that really made all the difference, all the absolute difference.
Thank you, Jay, but I would never have been able to do it if I hadn't had the Jay as well. So we've moved a long way since then. We now run the Torbay Social Enterprise Network. I was talking to somebody in one of the breakout rooms who, with his wife, set up a zero waste store just before the first lockdown. Well, we set up the Torbay Social Enterprise Network just before the first lockdown. Perfect timing. But despite that, we now have 51 members. Not bad through a pandemic. We're also working really closely with Torbay Council, which was something we never expected. And Jay teased some of you earlier with the possibility of talking about community wealth building and Preston. Who's going to look excited when I say the P word for Preston? But Torbay Council has taken on board community wealth building. They're not putting as much resource into it as some places are because it's not a very big authority, but there are people there who are really committed to it. They're looking at procurement, changing the amount of money that the anchor institutions spend so that more of it is spent locally, which can make a huge difference because between them they spend a vast amount of money. They're also wanting to support the social enterprise sector and business for good sector, and they're taking some positive steps about that. And I'm delighted to report that they've just actually agreed to give some money to Tony Greenham for the Southwest Mutual. Late in the day, but they've done it. They've got there. So you can tell that they're moving in the right direction.
Maybe you could just say a couple of words about the Southwest Mutual so everybody knows what that is.
I was just thinking, given the range of people that I've spoken to this evening in the breakout rooms and where they are, it probably won't mean very much. The Southwest Mutual is one of a number of community-owned banks which are in the process of being set up. Lots of countries have a history of them. We had something that was a bit similar at one point, but we've lost it. So it's starting from scratch. And the Southwest Mutual is going to cover all the way from, I was going to say the tip of Cornwall, but actually it's beyond that because it will cover the Scillies as well, little group of islands, right the way up to, where does it stop, Jay? It doesn't include Bristol, does it? Because there's another one up there. It covers a good chunk of the southwest.
Yeah, I think it includes Somerset and Dorset as well.
Dorset. Yeah, and they are going to be focusing on providing banking services specifically for really small businesses and for individuals, people who've had a lot of difficulty getting any serious financial support to set things up or keep going over the last few years. So it's a massive process, as it should be, to set up a new bank, but they're well on the way, and it's going to make a real difference in the area. So this is where life gets a bit tricky, because I could keep talking about this stuff for 3 hours without hardly drawing breath.
Well, Chris, one of the things that we talked about when we met at the Devon Convergence that happened in Torbay back in, what was that, 2017? Was the concern about the huge inequality.
Do you see an ingredient list on that thing? I mean, it was making me kind of
I'm just going to try
coughing weird. So I just I better not look at the ingredients. And then I couldn't see anything that said the ingredients, except, the bottle itself, of course.
Right. Okay. So this is my first time on Zoom. But, so you expressed a huge concern about the inequality that exists in Torbay, which is huge, and that kind of thing is typical of so many places. So, what is this sort of collaborative approach now from the council in terms of their community wealth building, but also just the kinds of the networks that have emerged in Torbay? What kind of difference is that going to make, do you think?
I think the really big difference is that there are collaborations now which are which are going to reach out into those most deprived communities and actually work with the people there. One of our partner organisations have individuals who've been working in those areas for 6 or 7 years now, so they really know the people. And that's going to enable us to support them to work out what would make their lives better and different, what sorts of businesses might be useful, whether they're co-ops or CICs. And then what that means we can do is, while the community wealth building is coming top down, which is what community wealth building tends to do, the other stuff will be coming up from the bottom, and it'll meet, yes, thank you, Jay, and it'll meet in the middle. So that's the hope, and the council are completely supportive of that. They understand that that's the need. They recognise that that's difficult for them to reach those areas, but by working in partnership with other organisations that can reach it, we really will be able to start shifting things.
Fantastic. So, I'm just trying to figure out where my cursor is going here. Okay. I've just put a link to Local Spark in the chat. I'm going to put a link into Reconomy Center. One of the things that we've been doing in Totnes for a long time is the Local Entrepreneur Forum, and it has kind of a dumb name. I admit it. It's the Local Entrepreneur Forum. And a lot of people think, oh, entrepreneurs, blah blah blah, they're bad. Elon Musk is an entrepreneur and they're ruining the world. But that's not what I didn't frame this exactly in the right way, did I? But we started doing this 9 years ago or 10 years ago in Totnes. And the idea was to find a way to kind of re-embed this process of economic transformation in the community and create a new kind of entrepreneurial culture, not an Elon Musk kind, but like a Myrtle Cooper kind. Myrtle Cooper is a local person that some of you might know who started up a foraging business. And so the idea behind the Local Entrepreneur Forum is that it creates a space for people in the community to come together and support the kind of entrepreneurs that we'd like to see. And it's been super successful in Totnes. In fact, I don't mind telling you that there are people all over the world who know about the work that we're doing here. And they've done the Local Entrepreneur Forum in Iowa, in the United States, in Rio de Janeiro, in Izumi, Japan. It's happening all over the place because not because we've done anything brilliant or so innovative that anyone else couldn't have thought about it, but because it re-embeds that process in the community in a way that unlocks the genius and the creative energy that exists in communities everywhere. And we did this in Torbay right before the lockdown, and it didn't change the world. It didn't change Torbay all at once, but it made a big difference, didn't it, Chris?
It did. Yeah, it absolutely did. We're still in touch with the entrepreneurs who pitched, and their businesses have gone from strength to strength, all of them, despite the pandemic. They've all managed to keep going. They've been fleet of foot. They've adapted, and they're now supporting other social enterprises as well when they get started.
So we'll do another online event all about the Local Entrepreneur Forum. But if you're interested, have a look at our website. It's something that could be done anywhere. It's super cheap and easy to do. And like so many of these solutions, it's just a change in perspective that makes all the difference. So thanks, Chris. I'm going to say goodbye to you now.